To Fenway Finale, live on YouTube and Twitter. Tonight, Ranger Suárez takes a no-hitter into the sixth inning, completes 8 shutout innings with 10 strikeouts. The Red Sox win their third straight game for the first time this season. Tonight, I'm joined by James and Will. Guys, this is like the first time in a while the vibes have been a little bit higher. We're still coming off the shock of the Cora firing, but at least we've won 3 straight. Let's get your feelings on today's game.
Yeah. If I had to summarize today's game, it felt a lot, especially like the last few days combined, it felt a lot like when your teacher kind of called in sick and you get the substitute teacher for a bit. You don't know if you like him. You don't know if he's going to be strict. And then the substitute teacher rolls in the TV and you're watching, the movies for like a week straight. And you're like, this is great. The vibes are great. 100%. The Red Sox played like that today too. They were loose. They were fun. It looked like they were just out there playing ball, not overthinking things. They were swinging at the plate. They were running bases. Suárez pitched an absolute gem, which we will get into tonight. But just overall, this was a different team, at least in my opinion, than what we've seen so far this season. Not saying that the season has turned around, World Series bound, but I like what I saw tonight a lot. So, yeah, really excited to talk about this tonight.
My favorite thing is that the analogies are back, Will. They're back. After a bit of a hiatus, they're back. So, and that was very applicable too. My big takeaway from tonight is Ranger Suárez, and I think that's what everyone's big takeaway is going to be. But he was masterful tonight. Again, this is the guy who they paid $130 million to in the offseason. This is why they paid him to be that anchor, to be that force behind Crochet in the rotation. And he was excellent, mixing all of his pitches tremendously well. That curveball was dynamite tonight. And the offense continued to show out. 5th straight game for the Sox with a homer. They're starting to hit home runs after going through a real power drought. So, we'll see how this continues. But 2-0 in the Chad Tracy era, and Ranger Suárez was magnificent north of the border.
The best start of his Red Sox career. I know it's a short Red Sox career, but we go back a few starts ago against the Tigers where he threw 8 shutout innings. I think this was even better. He took his stuff to another level. The stuff was great. The whiffs were at 14, which was a lot higher than any start it's more than any start that he's had in any start this season. So it was a great start. It was very fun to watch. He works fast. He gets the ball and he goes out there and just dominates. He looks like he has so much fun. So I enjoy watching him. It was, even for a night, it was so much fun to just go out there, see the Red Sox have fun, put up some good at-bats, and it was a change, So we were talking about it a couple minutes ago. Maybe we make the episode, or the title of this episode, maybe firing Cora was a good thing. We're not going to get there yet, but,
No.
It's going to be a topic of discussion pretty soon if the Red Sox keep winning baseball games.
Okay, I did want to say this, and I know we were joking about it before, but genuinely, will it make a difference? Possibly. I still think it was the wrong move. I think I was adamant about that last night. The schedule eases up in May. They do not play a lot of hard competition. So if the law of averages evens out, I don't think anyone thought they were the 3rd worst team in baseball record-wise. They might point to a managerial change where they weren't going to be 9-17 all year, and the schedule eases up. But good for Chad Tracy. I think we're all fans of Tracy, but yeah.
James, let us have this, please.
I'll let you two take that. I will be sternly in the other way, but I will let you guys take it and run with it. How about that?
Fair enough. I think with Suárez too, I want to call out 10 strikeouts, especially for a guy who does not strike out a lot of hitters, a weak contact kind of pitcher. 10 strikeouts. It just plays really well also into his pitch mix today. It was very kind of like even across his top 3-4 pitches there too. It wasn't just 1-2 dominant that we've seen in previous starts. So just really positive signs too. He was unbelievable. If it wasn't for Dave O'Brien jinxing him with the no-hitter on the anniversary of Derek Lowe's no-hitter, that would have been such an epic start of Chad Tracy's managerial career in the majors.
And it really did happen right after they mentioned it, right? Like I was in my mind thinking like, hey, they haven't mentioned it yet. I always recognize it after like the 2nd inning. I'm like, yeah, he hasn't given up a hit. Yeah, we got a no-hitter tonight. But obviously the announcers aren't going to start noticing it until like the 4th or the 5th or the 6th inning. But as soon as he mentioned it, hit. It was unfortunate, but that's always how it goes.
Yeah, and I think Another thing, when you look at the strikeout totals tonight between Suárez and Cease, you would have thought it would have been flipped going into the game. Cease only having 5, Suárez having 10 tonight. Cease came in with multiple 10 strikeout games on the season, I believe. Obviously a high strikeout pitcher, and they were, they were really able to get to him. He cruised through 4, and then all of a sudden in the 5th just kind of collapsed. That was that play with Anthony is such a little league play. Doing basically a somersault off the mound. The Red Sox were able to take advantage. I think that was a part of the offense that we hadn't seen, and we've really seen it over the last couple of days, them continuing to chip away. And my biggest thing with Chad Tracy, I really think he is going to unlock Marcelo Meyer by the virtue of just making Meyer comfortable. It's a guy who Marcelo played under, throughout the first half of 25, and then the last month of 24 was up in Worcester, obviously didn't play. He's familiar with Tracy, though, from that, along with spring training. Not that, Meyer was uncomfortable with AC, but obviously not playing every day, just a little bit of a different vibe. I think that familiarity, that comfortability, Tracy being able to tap into, dude, you were a former number 4 overall pick, a former top 5 prospect in baseball. We believe in you. This organization believes in you. You're a stud. Go out there and be free and play baseball and do your thing. Like, be Marcelo Meyer. And I don't think he's been Marcelo Meyer since he's been in Portland. I don't think he's been his natural self. So that's honestly what I'm really excited for, is Meyer being Meyer again.
I keep mentioning it throughout the season so far on the show here, but the kind of the attitude that Cora kept talking about Mayer in terms of he has to earn his spot or earn his spots against lefties and whatnot. And we kept mentioning, how can he do that if he doesn't get the chance against lefties, etc. It almost seemed like Cora put Mayer on like a PIP, right? Like a performance improvement plan at work. And now that's, you kind of see like a complete like change in attitude with Tracy there. Exactly.
It's like Tracy took it to HR and ripped it up, said, nah, you're good. I'm the new boss in here, and we're not doing that anymore.
And you can work from home. Exactly.
Yeah. Get Meyer off those awful commercials. Yeah. You bum.
he can keep up with those commercials all he wants if he's going to perform like he did today. He had 2 of the Red Sox first 3 hits today, and off of Dylan Cease too. I'm not going to buy into this whole Dylan Cease is past his prime and he's a washed up pitcher. Today was like a trap game in my eyes coming into it with Dylan Cease on the mound. This would have been an exact like replica of the Dustin May type games. These games against like Bailey Ober so far that we've seen this season, where we've turned these pitchers, these pitchers that have performed.
Except Cease is actually good.
Better. Well, that's my point, right? It's like so far this season, I don't think he's made it past like the 5th or 6th inning, and he kind of falls off like there. And if you told me that Cease was going to go out today and just stomp us into the 8th inning or something like that, just absolutely crazy, I would have absolutely believed it with this lineup. And I'm just so glad that wasn't the case. I'm glad we actually were able to take advantage of a lesser Dylan Cease.
I kind of do want to give the lineup a little bit of credit today. I thought Dylan Cease, at least through the first 4 innings, was kind of nasty. The fastball was up to like 99.5. I really thought he was good. He was kind of dotting it up. The changeup was really good, at least to the lefties. I thought he was good. It really did unravel. He started walking guys when he got to the 5th in the 5th inning. But I think the at-bats were better. I think if this was two or 3 weeks ago, I'm not saying this is a Cora or a coaching staff thing. I think this is a player thing, that they're just getting better at bats. They're finally getting comfortable. They weren't prepared to start this season. They're finally getting themselves in a position that they're kind of prepared to win baseball games. So I think the at-bats were better than they were 2 or 3 weeks ago. And if you put this, I know Ranger Suárez was so good, but I don't think we would score 5 runs if this was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
No, and they were being patient. I think that was the biggest thing. Obviously, worked 3 walks, worked deep into counts, and even their outs were loud outs. Duran had 3 hard hit balls tonight. Doesn't have a hit to show for it, but like he was hitting the ball on the screws. I know Anthony, that line out to Schneider in the 4th inning, another hard hit ball off Cease. But like you said, I think it's the progression into the season where they were all pressing and just somehow all being at their absolute worst at the same time. During the 9-17 start, I think we're now seeing that regression to the mean. Guys are relaxing a little bit more, and I'm sure guys are still very frustrated with how everything with Cora went down, and probably wanting to take out a little bit of that frustration too. It's probably a combination of everything. Like, the vibes were definitely, they won yesterday, but the vibes were definitely weird. I think today was, their first normal day. Story and whoever else, were able to talk to Breslow, able to air out their frustrations, and now put all that behind you, go out there and play a baseball game and try to win a baseball game. And now over these next 2, try to win a series. It's like, that's what you can get back to now. Obviously a lot going on the last couple of days. But hopefully now you can put that behind you and go out there, just focus on playing baseball. Because this is going to affect you, and it's going to affect Breslow's job. Like, if this doesn't work out over the next 133 games, and that's going to reflect poorly on him. And I think a lot of these guys, we've heard Merlone talk about it. Lenny DiNardo talked about it on the pregame tonight with TC. A lot of these guys are realizing for the first time, hey, when Cora, other coaches get fired, that's a result of my poor performance. And it's kind of a reality shock. You look in the mirror like, oh, shoot, I'm the reason why they're not coaching. And this was their livelihood and how they provided for their families, whatever it may be. And I think that's just kind of a wake up call for everyone. And now they can go out, focus on, the positives, being better, playing baseball. And so far it's worked.
Yeah. Line construction wise too, I want to call out, this is our second game in a row without some kind of pinch hitter. And I think that shows a lot of confidence in the starting lineup that is being rolled out. It almost was like a given that's like 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th inning. Like no matter what the score was, Cora was pinch hitting for someone or something or whatever it may be. That got really tiring really fast when it wasn't working. And I'm just really happy to see whether it is just Chad Tracy just trying to like learn everyone.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think part of it is. He's trying to get his bearings. 100%. It's like, I've been here for 48 hours. Like, I need to learn these guys a little bit.
Absolutely. But part of me also wants to believe that he actually believes in these guys in the lineup that they roll out every night for 9 innings.
Yeah. Who did Mantiply face? Was it Meyer?
Right?
I don't know. But I just know if I don't remember who he faced, but I do know if that was a situation where Alex Cora was, even with a 5-0 lead, he was going to take Marcelo Meyer out of the game and pinch hit with Monasterio or IKF in that situation.
So he faced Duran to end the 6th. That was the line out that I think Schneider made that diving catch on.
Yep.
Right, so
and then he faced Contreras, Anthony, and Abreu. So 3 out of the 4 batters he faced were lefties. But honestly, I don't, given who, like personnel wise, who it was, I don't know if Cora would have pinch hit anyone. Maybe he would have pinch hit Duran. He's not lifting Abreu or Anthony.
He's not pitch hitting Duran in the
correct
with a lead. But maybe in a tight game if that's really what he wants to do. Sure. But I would never do it. Like
I don't think
not better than Duran.
I think that was more of a personnel thing, like Tracy, Cora, whoever is not pinch hitting for those 3 guys at the top of the order. Then obviously Contreras, a righty, is going to face him. But yeah, also speaking of Contreras, shout out to the dad and the son who they kept showing with the thank you AC and tech sign with the WC40 chain. I know Mikey Eman from Section 10 kind of coined that phrase. And that chain went with the City Connect jersey too. That was pretty sweet.
It did. I think Eman even tweeted it out and was like, where can I get one of these? Like,
that looks like a custom piece for sure.
Now, how soon are we going to see those at the team store on Yawkey Way next homestand?
Yeah, just like the ice cream cap hats and shirts last year, they'll be there next homestand, and they'll probably be sold out for a while too.
For the small price of $95, right?
That's right. We can't pay an impact bat, but we can sure charge you whatever we want at the team store,
and it will sell.
So, do you have anything specific you guys want to talk about? I mean, Jarren Duran, I think he's on the verge of a big breakout, and I think he's going to get a chance to play every single day going forward. It's another thing I do want to talk about. We didn't talk about it again. We did bring it up really quickly last night. Anthony, DH, is that a full-time thing? Is that what Breslow thinks he is? Is that what Chad Tracy thinks he is? It's weird because developmental-wise, you want him out in the outfield, but your best team is probably not with him out there. What do you guys think? Like, how do you feel about him just DHing most of the time?
If that means opening up an outfield spot versus having Sadon play second base, I'm all for it. I don't like the idea of having a 22-year-old as a full-time DH. There's something wrong with that in my eyes. But again, given the situation that we have in the outfield and the logjam we have, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like I'd like to be able to free up a spot to get Yoshida in there. And we've harped on it ad nauseum. Goes back to the roster construction from Breslow in the offseason. And I think a point today, going back to roster construction, where Breslow talked about how he made it hard on Cora, like that is still going to linger. Not the Cora piece, but just the roster construction of like, all right, you get rid of Cora. Tracy still has to juggle the same issues in terms of you have 4 outfielders for 3 spots and then 5 guys with Yoshida for 4 spots. So it's like, that piece of it is tough because I don't think it maximizes your best team. But I would like to see Anthony in the outfield, but the way the team is constructed, he's probably best suited to DH. It just leaves Yoshida like out of a spot, and he's been one of your better bats, and they haven't been striking out as much these last 3 games. And Yoshida's great at keeping the line moving. Like, I want to see him get in there. So
I think that's how they're going to cope with it. It's just they're going to do exactly what they did last year. Breslow thinks they could banish him. Maybe this time it's not in wherever the heck he was last year. This time it's on the bench. But I really think Yoshida's
been one of their better bats this year. Look, I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just like
he has, but he's got the lowest ceiling.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Breslow and Chad Tracy are going to go with going forward. And he's not his guy. Like that's the thing. Like Yoshida's not his guy. And honestly, he was nobody's guy besides Heim Bloom. Like everybody kind of made fun of Bloom from that contract. Like that was the word around town. Like $90 million for that guy. Like you overpaid by like 30, 40 million bucks. Like that's what everyone was talking about right after the signing.
Yeah.
So he's not his
understand.
guy. And I think that's what happens. They banish him.
I just don't understand how you can build a roster where this is such a glaring issue. Like it was an issue most of last year, and it's still an issue now. Like you had all offseason to take care of this. And even if Durant for Paredes or Durant in any other trade was a net negative in terms of value because Durant is a better player, it would have maximized the ability of the team because then you can go out and get another impact bat and fit all the pieces of the puzzle together. Now it's just awkward.
Also, friendly reminder, for less than what we're paying Yoshida, we could have gotten Murakami. Different conversation, different time, I know. But I always remind myself that whenever I pan see Yoshida in the dugout, just sitting, not having like an everyday position or at least a $17 million or $18 million position on this team. And it's like, all right, well, Murakami signed for.
We'd have the same issue in terms of our roster construction. And Murakami would have been awesome, but it's like, I feel like this team probably would have used him at DH because they probably wouldn't. If they wanted to value run prevention and defense, I still feel like they make that trade for Durbin. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, I think it's a completely different roster.
Play first base.
Yeah.
And then it would have been no Wilson Contreras. We'd be talking about a whole different team right now. And then I think we still suck against left-handed pitchers. Like we'd have suck even more against left-handed pitchers if you went down that road. I'm intrigued by Murakami, but I understand why they didn't go after him. Like Akamoto's the guy I'm more upset about if we're going to look at an international free agent. I know he hasn't, but I still think the power potential is going to be there. He'll hit 20. He might not hit for average, but I think his power will be there.
Yeah, I just I don't know how how Breslow built the roster, and I don't know if you guys got to read Julian McWilliams' piece today, or any of the other pieces that came out. June Lee's piece, obviously, on toxic positivity in the clubhouse and all that. It was harping on a lot, but McWilliams' piece was really good because it harped on the clubhouse, but also harped a bit on roster construction and whatnot. And it's like the way you built the roster just wasn't conducive to give Cora and the staff the best way to manage the team. And in talking about Duran, Yoshida, how are these guys going to play? It's like, this could have been avoided. We had 4 months from last October to the start of spring training and really to the start of the regular season to avoid this. So it's like, it just, you put Tracy in a tough position too, because he's dealing with the same problems in terms of lineup construction. Like that's not a managerial thing. That's a front office and general manager thing. Like the way the roster is built. So it's like, I think that's kind of unfair for Tracy to be dealt the same hand. Like there's no right way to do it because if somebody's going to be upset and somebody's going to be sitting every night that's talented.
James, you want to give your thoughts on this comment right here?
Yeah.
Wait, I'll pop up in a second.
I'm sure that I see it. In terms of he provides, like you said, he provides the lowest ceiling. I wish there was a way to get everyone in there, and there's obviously not. So we'll see. I mean, if they keep winning, it's a different story. If they keep losing, I could see them trading Durant, and that's how it works out. Granted, the season's a lost cause at that point if they trade Durant. I don't know. It's too early to give up on anyone, and they're just going to have to fit a square peg into a round hole, I guess, in terms of this, in terms of the lineup. Like that just, I probably will, you guys can cut me off. You guys can yell at me and tell me to stop talking about roster construction. I just don't understand where, because if things get better, that's only going to make the roster construction, the lineup piece of it worse, because then the games actually start to matter more. Now it's like, we've been awful. You're just playing to try to dig yourself out of the hole. But once you dig yourself out of the hole, if you do, it's like, all right, now we go. How do we do this thing?
So if you want to trade Jarren Duran, you have to play him every day to recoup some value.
Correct.
Right?
And they're not. That's the other thing too. And if you want him to build up his trade value, you have to play him every day. And it's like baseball players get better by playing every day. It's a catch-22.
Let me ask this question. To fix the roster construction, I think I would have a different answer 2 months ago than I would right this second. To fix the roster construction, would you take a lesser return for Jarren Duran, knowing that he's lost value, knowing you could have gotten more in the past? Because right now, I think he doesn't get you that much right now. I don't know what his value really is in the open market. I think there's some teams that don't even want to touch him.
No.
But it's what do you take back value wise? Do you take a loss in this trade? Right now, I say no because the direction of what the organization is. It looks like we're taking more of a step back now than a step forward.
Right now, no. In the offseason for Paredes or somebody like that to fix the roster, they probably should have. Or they could have just signed Bregman, figured out something to do with Yoshida to like jettison a prospect, and that would have been that.
Also, it's going to be so easy looking back and thinking back to Durant's 2024 season and thinking of the ceiling that he was back then in his own talent and career numbers.
He was so good, dude.
He will never reach that. I mean, let's hope he does and whatnot, but if we're talking about trade value and whether we're willing to sell lower than what his ceiling is, let's face it. I mean, that's a reality that we're gonna have to live with if we want to see Durant moved, which I think a majority of Sox fans, including myself, wants to see. I think that's a clear way to solve this outfield logjam that has been plaguing us for close to the last year at this point.
Thanks, Prez.
Guys have anything specific about this tonight's game, or do you want to just get into the look ahead a little bit? You know, tomorrow's a really intriguing pitching matchup that I think we're all excited for.
I do want to call out Navarez as well. He had a home run today. It's 2 homers in his last 3 games, as well as a 6-game hitting streak too. If this team is going to win games, one of their 2 catchers has to produce on a nightly basis. And it's not going to be Connor Wong. I am so pumped to see Navarez back. He also adds that energy and that kind of like, you know, just like that pinnacle catcher energy to the lineup. If he does well, I feel like that's contagious with the rest of the team. We saw it today. His homer today, by the way, was an absolute laser. That thing was like shot. That was a ball that entered the stands, and I felt bad for the person that was behind that ball.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on Wilyer Abreu. He was hitting, I think, 132 over his last 9, finishing the Yankee series. But, you know, since Friday night, Baltimore hit a home run, got 2 more hits tonight, another RBI. His average is back up to 306. He's really been snapping out of it, and I think Cora touched on it while he was still here over that skid. The process has been good. It was just kind of getting unlucky, and I think you're starting to see that luck reverse itself a bit in a positive way for Abreu. You know, he's been their most consistent hitter this year, probably he's been their best hitter, probably not most consistent because of the funk, along with Contreras. But it's good to see him hitting the ball, continuing to hit the ball hard, staying with his approach, staying with the process. You know, using all fields, and 2 more hard hit balls tonight. Glad to see him hitting cleanup and continuing to rake.
Tom Caron actually even said that his double in the 5th had an exit velo of 107.4, and that was the first registered barreled ball from Dylan Cease all year, which had 524 pitches this season leading up to that double. So that's always great to see.
Yeah.
That's pretty hard to believe, but that's a really cool stat. Yeah. Yeah, besides that, I think the next thing we get into is tomorrow's pitching matchup. I'm really intrigued to see Peyton Toley again. You know, he's coming off a really, really, really fun start against the Yankees. He went 6 innings, 3 hits, gave up 1 run, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts, only 93 pitches. He has 17 swings and misses. So if he does anything like that, I'm going to be very happy, and I think the Red Sox will win again. But he's going to face off against Trey Savage. And if we remember, guys, Trey Savage showed off in the playoffs as a rookie last year. He's still a rookie technically this year, but he threw like, I don't know how many innings off the top of my head in the playoffs, but it must have been almost like 30 innings. He went out there and dominated in the World Series. He
27 2/3.
So yeah, it was something crazy like that. 27 innings. So he carved the Dodgers up in the World Series in a dominant lineup. I'm very excited to see him again. I know it sucks he's going to pitch against the Red Sox. He's making his return against the Red Sox, but I'm always a fan of very dominant, good, young pitching, especially when 2 good pitchers are going up against each other. The future of the AL East, at least in the rotation side of things. So this is a really fun game tomorrow. Give me your thoughts on that, and then we'll give you a little bit of a prediction on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, for somebody like Savage, somebody who really dips into the 4-seamer and the split finger a lot, the Red Sox are going to have to, you know, be patient again, not be overly aggressive, stay balanced and take advantage. You know, it's something that where the injury was unfortunate, but I think the postseason did a lot for him. And his pitch usage last year, he used the 4-seamer 45.2% of the time. The slider was 28.5, and then the split finger was 26.4. So really leans heavily into the 4-seamer. You know, the velocity is solid, but he mixes his pitches so well, and he's very deceptive that they're going to have to be patient. It's not going to be as hard as Cease, which is going to be a benefit, but they're going to have to be patient, come up with a crafty plan, and make sure that they find enough offense for Tolley.
Yeah, I do want to harp on also too. We mentioned earlier tonight that the Red Sox tonight did a great job working longer at bats. They averaged about just under 4.5 pitches per at bat. That's going to be the key tomorrow. Make him work, make him throw pitches. Don't give him these 4 or 5 pitch innings rather than 4 or 5 pitch at bats. Make him work, make him throw pitches, get familiar with him. Like we said, the fastball is not like what we saw today with Cease, but overall, it's gonna be an exciting matchup too. I'm really excited, especially given Tolley's last outing against the Yankees. We've been over it after the Yankee series on the show, but that was the Yankees lineup is a force to be reckoned with, and he just completely dominated them in his last start. I'm really excited to see this matchup tomorrow. It's gonna be a great game.
I was about to bring this up. I assumed that Savage would be on a pitch count returning. Yep. So this was a good point by Brent. He'll be on a pitch count. You got to work these counts, get him out of there as soon as possible. Get to this bullpen that's been struggling. Hoffman's out as the closer. Louis Varland's in. So they've had a mix-up back there. So put as much pressure on them. Get to their bullpen. Get to their low-leverage guys. And let's win. Let's take 2 out of 3 from the start, Yeah. Let's get this series win and then go out for a sweep for the first time this series. Or this season.
One thing I wanted to touch on with Tolley real quick was his pitch usage. Just in his last start against New York, he used the 4-seamer almost 50% of the time, 49.5, the sinker at 19.4%, the curve at 16.1, then the cutter and the change at 11.8 and 3.2 respectively. So we'll see if he continues to use the fastball as much. I believe Wong caught him last time, and I know Wong went to Crochet before the start on Saturday. He was like, continue to tap into the 4-seamer, did the same thing with Early yesterday. So if Wong catches Tolley tomorrow night, we'll see if that continues as well, because obviously with Tolley, the 4-seamer plays, that's his best pitch, that's his bread and butter. So we'll see, and we'll see if Toronto sits on it. They're obviously a good fastball hitting team. So
it's just before we get into a few good questions here.
Yep.
You think the Red Sox win tomorrow?
Yes,
I think so. Yeah.
I do too. I don't know why, but I do think they win tomorrow, and I look forward to having a chance for a sweep, So there's a couple good questions here, in all of your opinions. Who's been the most consistent hitter for the Sox lately? I think we should just go for the whole season. It's only been about 30-ish games. So who do you think the most consistent hitter for the whole season or lately? I have 2 off the top of my mind. I think most of us will have that one of those 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if it's not Contreras or Willier, let's hear why.
Yeah, I was going to say WC-40.
Yeah. I posed a question to a friend of mine the other day. I go, if the bases are loaded, bottom 9th inning, tie game, who on the Red Sox do you want at the plate right now or, tomorrow, right? It's a hard question to ask now versus this time last year, right? Or in previous seasons. I still think I go with Contreras, right? I think, he's been consistent and he puts up good at bats. And, for Brittany, who asked that question, my answer is Contreras.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. And for me, it's because Contreras is getting on base. And I think he's been the most consistent. I know he had the 0 for 14 or 0 for 15, whatever it was. But aside from that, that was an abbreviated slump. Willier, I think, was a little bit more extended. And I think Contreras has just been a steady on base horse at the top of the order.
Yeah, it's a sweep for us. I agree with all the same reasons that you just said. It's intriguing with Abreu because he was the other guy, obviously, exactly what Will said. If it's not one of those 2, I want to hear your argument why. I can't even give you another guy that would want to put in there. It might even be Ceddanne Rafaela. If that's how bad this offense has really been, he'd be your 3rd best player, at least.
Connor Wong.
Yeah, Connor Wong even. Like that. That's where we're digging right now for consistent Red Sox hitters this season. But yes, I think Abreu has the ceiling to be the better offensive talent. But right now, if your base is loaded, like you said, Wilson Contreras is my guy. He gets hit by pitches. He gets on base. He finds a way to drive in runs. He doesn't go. I think Willier is a very streaky player. Wilson Contreras is the consistent hitter for me. That's the answer to my question, or that question. Another one, what do the Red Sox need to improve to being contenders this season? I think a lot of us will have the same answer as well. I think if we get a lot more starts like Ranger Suárez tonight, we're going to have a good chance to make a comeback in the season. But obviously, we're not going to have our starters go 8 shutout innings every single day. So to me, if my answer is continue these good at-bats, I'd like to see improvements every single day, work the counts, better at-bats, because offensively, they have a ceiling. They're not going to go out there and be the best offense in the league. They just don't have that talent. They don't have the personnel for that. But if they can grind out at-bats and the pitching comes back to where we all know they can pitch, this team has a chance to at least get back in a really weakened American League. So if the hitting has to be a league average or a little bit better, and the pitching has to be great.
That, and I want to call it our defense too. Our defense has been a lot better in the last 2
Now they're making
weeks.
5 errors tomorrow. No,
I know. Knock on wood. Thankfully, my desk is made of wood. But I swear that their defense is kind of like taking a turn for the better recently, and you can just tell like confidence plays and helps whoever is on the mound for us at any given moment, knowing that our defense is playing really well too. So I think that plays a big role into that whole pitching importance too.
Definitely. For me, I would say offensively, because they built the team around pitching and run prevention. And obviously the defense has been better. Like you said, I think they're going to continue to get solid starts, but is this offense enough? I think all of us would say no. And I think we knew we were a bat or two short coming into the season. So that's the part that I have the hardest time with is like, you don't make the move to fire AC unless you think it's really gone off the rails and you're not contenders. But what makes you think like just a managerial switch with the same roster is going to make you contenders? And I think the offense is the biggest, the biggest weak spot. And, Anthony will be better. There's a couple other, I think Meyer will be better, but it's like 1 to 9 as a whole. Will they be better? I don't know. I know I've brought this point up before, but it's like, I think on paper, they have a lot of great individual parts, but they don't hit well together as a team because the way the lineup and the roster is constructed. If there's a way to maximize the lineup and get your best bats in the lineup every night, I think that's going to be the way to go. Is you're going to have to score runs.
Here's a comment from Brent. Abreu and WC40 are the only players with a plus 800 OPS and a WAR above 1. So I think this is kind of crazy because I think if we look back, Willie Abreu was the first player to reach 1 WAR this season, right? Or at least it was B-WAR.
B-WAR, yes.
B-WAR, yeah.
First player to reach that. I don't know what exactly is right now, but it has come back down to earth significantly. He's not on that super 10, 11, 12 WAR pace like he was in the beginning of the season, obviously.
He's Mr. March. That's why.
It's just I don't think, to be honest, these guys, Abreu and WC40, 800 OPS is probably their ceiling. I think Abreu probably has a little bit more if he taps into the power more consistently, maybe 825, 830 OPS, but he's not a 900, 930 guy. He's not a superstar. And we need one more of these guys in the middle of our order that can kind of balance it out. If we don't have a superstar, we need 3 or 4 800 plus OPS guys, not 2 and then sub 600 guys.
Yeah, like
I think Roman gets to that point pretty soon. Hopefully,
I was going to say they're going to need Roman to get to that threshold, and they're going to need Story. He's not going to get to 800. They're going to need him to get like between 690 and like 725, just similar to what he was last year from June 1st on. That and then probably Duran at that 750 threshold because of how much he's getting on base. He's obviously not going to have the slug, but with how much he needs to be up in that 730 to 750 range. It's like there's. Without an impact bat, there's too many guys who need to be better, and I don't know if all of them will be. I hope they are, but like 30 games isn't necessarily a small sample. And I'm not saying Duran is going to have a 570 OPS this year, but it's also not like it's a 4-game sample or a 6-game sample. It's like there's been a bit of runway here.
And Duran has always been a little bit of a streaky guy as well.
Sure.
I mean, I think
I'm just speaking for the team generally.
Yep. Yeah, I think Duran will have a heater where he has a 1,400 OPS for 2 or 3 weeks, and then his averages come back to normal where you, like you said, a 720, a 730, and then he'll kind of baseline around there for the rest of the season. I just hope he runs more and produces offensively in a different way. I need him to be as aggressive as possible on the base pass. He's perfect for stolen base opportunities. I want him every time he's on first base to go. Like that's how I'm feeling at the moment. Like, I want him to be as aggressive as possible. Another comment here, a stat that speaks volumes to me is 11-1 when your pitcher goes 6+. The only one that didn't go 6, the only win that we didn't get when he goes 6+ was Peyton Tolley last time out against the Yankees. Live and die with the Yankees, Peyton Tolley.
Oh, the Peyton Tolley.
Yeah. 11K. So he gets his chance again today or tomorrow. If he goes 6 innings, I think we win.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, that complements that whole idea of this team is going to win off of starting pitching and run prevention, right? It's like it really, really does boil down to starting rotation and how important they are.
And speaking of starting rotation, Scherzer goes in the IL today. So what a bummer that we don't get to face him. And not only because he's been reeling, but the fact that it's a Bayo game, and it's like that we don't have a weak pitcher to beat up, not just to get the offense continue to get the offense going, but because Bayo is pitching, and just it seems like it's Wednesday might be a barn burner. That might be a Wednesday 3:00 game, 13-11 final score.
There is no schedule started
TBD
yet,
right now.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
TBD for the Jays.
I was surprised when they announced Bayo was going to make his next scheduled start, and that was Cora who announced that at the time.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously he will still pitch, but I don't think he has much leash left with Sonny Gray coming back soon.
Yeah, if they were smart, they'd keep Tully in the rotation. When Gray comes back, they keep Tully in the rotation. Bayo has 2 options left. Worcester's available. Chad Tracy just got up here from Worcester, so there's easily a way to get back. He has 2 options left.
I don't think it's a Worcester thing. I think it's like more of a phantom IL.
Yeah, I mean, I think Worcester is best for the team and his development because he actually gets to go work on something. It's like he has no value in the bullpen or being on the IL and just being around the team, but throwing pens. Like, that's not going to make him better. It's like if the team wants him to be better, he's going to have to fix it at Worcester. And I thought they should have traded him this offseason. Granted, a lot of teams probably didn't want him. Like, I know we've harped on that, but it's like most teams probably didn't want him for the same reason why a lot of Red Sox fans, or at least a decent amount, wanted to
I have a take.
Bayo's
a Dombrowski guy, technically, right?
No, I mean, not like
Eddie Romero, but like he was under Dombrowski's.
I'd more say, like, I don't know if I'd assign him to like Bloom or Dombrowski.
He developed under Bloom. He was he was signed under Dombrowski and Romero, technically.
Yep.
Developed under Bloom, extended under Breslow. Breslow's the pitching guy. He extended Bayo. If Bayo sucks, if he's like bad, like he's a bad major league pitcher going forward.
He is.
I was going to say, not if. He is. Not if.
Going forward, if this is who he is forever, and he's just going to be out of the league in a few years, that's a major fuck up by Breslow extending this guy. It is. It was a stupid move to begin with. He has all the. If this is a pitching development guy, and you believed in yourself that you can go out there and develop better pitchers than Brian Bayo, that was just a stupid move to extend this guy.
One of these early signings before they prove anything type of deal that has ultimately.
He got extension happy. He thought he could extend all these guys. He did it all in one offseason. It was really dumb. It's like Cora even made a mention about it. It was like he didn't like these things, and I don't agree with him 100% because some of them are going to be great.
I think you got to take as many shots as you can.
The Bayo one's going to suck.
The Rafaela contract is not a bad contract. I think that was 6 years, $50 million, or 6 years, $48 million. Obviously, the Anthony deal is the Anthony deal. Campbell, I think, is going to. I'm not saying it's going to be this year, but I think over the life of the contract, he's going to find it again. Granted, they don't have a position for him. You talk about roster construction; they're just playing him in the outfield. But it's like, you have to keep taking these shots in order to hit on a couple. You look at what the Braves have done, what the Dodgers have done, some other organizations. It's like you have to keep taking those shots.
But then you look at Bayo and you're like, all right, well, that one so far has not been playing out.
Yeah, because who knows? It's like maybe without that contract, the team would be willing to take like his $3.5 million salary in arbitration. I don't know what it would have been, but it would have been between $3 and $5 million. It's like, all right, you're not tied to him, for a bigger luxury tax hit and a higher AAV. You're just tied to him through the ARB years. He's worth being a 5th starter and trying to see if we can get this to work on our way to a postseason.
Let me ask this question because I think we're going to disagree. And I know James just kind of told us a little bit how he feels about all of them, almost all of them. But out of the extensions, Bayo, Campbell, Anthony, Rafaela, anyone else? I'm talking about Breslow's, not Whitlock. No one. Is that it's just those 4?
Under Breslow?
Yeah. Campbell.
I think so.
Mainly those 4.
They never got Costas. They never got a break.
What do you think should be like a good win rate? Like 2 out of 4 is what I'm cutting at right now. And that's a stretch. Like I think the Campbell's a loss. I think Bayo's a loss. I'm saying Rafaela will work out as a win. And Roman Anthony, right now, is he worth $130 million? I think that he will be 100% worth it. But right
Yeah.
now, is it a win so far? I'm saying
Yeah.
2 of them are losses. I think, like James brought up, Campbell, he might come back and come. I think he has a better chance to being a better player with Tracy as your manager than I do with Cora. I do believe that. But right now, I'm saying 2 are definite losses. Is that a bad hit rate for these kind of extensions? I think so, yes.
I don't know. Is it half full or half empty? Right. It's like if you go 2 for 4, with those values too, it depends on how much value you get out of Roman and how much value you get out of Rafaela to then outweigh the bad of Bayo and Campbell.
Do you want to think about like couple other organizations about them? Like I go back to like the Royals back in the day.
Yeah.
They did it well. They didn't really miss.
I mean, look at Atlanta. They extended Harris, and obviously he was down for a couple of years, but he's balling this year. OPS at almost 920.
I can give some
Albies, Acuna, Strider. I think they extended Austin Riley. That one's looking a bit iffy the last couple of years.
I can even give Strider a miss. Like
I think the jury's still out.
But he's been hurt very badly. Like in the first few years of that. I think Murphy could be a miss. I know that was a different one. That wasn't a pre-arb extension. That was more of a free agent years. But that was a miss to me. But I think that's a different category.
I would not put Strider in that category. Murphy, sure, but again, that's different because it's not a pre-arb one. But Atlanta has hit on a lot of them. I think the one thing with Campbell is I wouldn't chalk it up to a loss yet. I still think he's still young. Was the minor league player of the year in 24 over Anthony. And convincingly, there's a reason why his teammates called him Barry Bonds. And I know minor league ball doesn't translate to major league ball. I still think his under the hood stuff looks good for the first time in like a year and a half. And it's encouraging. He's pulling the ball more. He's playing with more confidence. They don't have a spot for him to play because they box him into the outfield. But I don't care how bad he was at second base last year. Just try it again because it can't get worse. And if you want it to work out, you've got to let it work somewhere because you don't have a spot for him right now. Like, again, hypothetically, if he were to be hitting 350 on Memorial Day or, he was hitting 280 with 13 jacks.
I just don't see Campbell as, yes, what was it, 8 years, like 60 mil, right?
8 years, 60 million. Yeah. And I think the escalators could have gotten it up to 80 million, depending on mutual options, MVP finishes, all that.
So once again, dollar figure speaking, it's like, all right, not the end of the world. I just don't see Campbell living up to that contract at the end of what would be 2033.
I think all he's got to do is have one All-Star season to live up to it, though. No, and I know that's a reach at this point, but
if you want to talk about value, like I get what you're saying. If he has one amazing season, like and he puts up like a season that's worth $30 million, it might be worth it. But he's sitting in the minor leagues for 2 of these, 3 of these, 4 of these seasons, and he's giving you absolutely nothing.
Right. But I also think that's a team development issue. And it's like they're boxing him into a different position. Clearly, the front office has had issue with the way the players have developed from, playing well in the minors and then not playing well in the majors and then going elsewhere and playing well. I don't know why David Hamilton was the example in McWilliams' article. I don't know what the infatuation with David Hamilton is. He's not a great player if he's going to start 145 games. If you want him to play, 65 to 80 games and be a spot starter and all that, he will show he'll be a good spark plug. That's a side tangent. I don't know what their infatuation with Hamilton is. My point is that if it's a development thing, they've got to relook what's going on at all levels of the organization because clearly Campbell was a developmental kind of outlier. Like he really took off in 24, played college ball at Georgia Tech, got drafted in the summer of 22. So his first full minor league season was 23, started 24 in Greenville and went from Greenville to Portland to Worcester. And then, he played single A, double A, triple A all in 1 year and started 25 with the big league club. So it's like he developed so quickly. And how much seasoning did he miss because he was just flat out raking and doing his thing and being KC? It's like that's what they've got to get back to figure out how to get KC to be KC.
And I'm all for that. And I really do hope that he gets back to being his KC, his minor league KC. But we saw how fast those wheels, fell off the tracks last year when he was in the majors.
Started with that rib injury. And
Absolutely.
then it just went downhill from there.
But he never showed glimpse of okay, there's still a player in there for the major league level. And that's why he's only been known as a AAA player since, right?
Yeah.
And I'm fully with you. This is a large part due because of the inability to develop young talent from the Red Sox side of things too. Why we committed him to an outfield that's already dealing with a logjam, I have no idea.
Yeah.
If we said this last year of, okay, Campbell, you're going to focus only on second base or some kind of infield position, there's a real argument that we could be seeing him sometime this year. I just don't see that. We treat a 2-3 week sample size of Campbell with his exit velo and launch angles and whatnot as if he's the next coming of Roman Anthony. I need to see more from him. I need to see more.
The other thing is that, and I know Kratz and Pierzynski were talking about it on Foul Territory today with Rosenthal. I think Hosmer brought it up as well, and I think McWilliams also brought this up in his article. Like they are viewing everything in such a driveline tunnel when it comes to hitting, and they want every hitter to do it one way, and they need it to be one way with their own internal metrics organizationally with how they view guys. And it's like, it's not a failure if somebody's good, but they do it a different way. Like, it's okay. It's okay. Like, there's not one right way to play baseball. It's never been that way since the game was founded in the mid 1800s. Like, there's not one right way to box guys into play baseball and how they have to be. Like, they don't have to fit some analytical mold based off what your internal models say. Because guess what? Your internal models haven't been great the last few years. So it's like, you are not the Gospel of John. Like, go to the Dodgers, go to the Gospel of Friedman if you want to look at the way guys develop, or the Braves with Anthopoulos. It's like that's I think that's the biggest thing is like there's not one way to be a good hitter and a good player. Guys develop at different rates, at different speeds, and there's different approaches that guys can take. It doesn't have to be the driveline way or the Red Sox way because it hasn't always worked.
And being so analytically driven. Tyler Milliken posted something really interesting on Twitter today from Alex Spear. I think that we all know what I'm alluding to here.
Yes.
About how Jose Flores told him that the internal defensive metric the Red Sox placed Trevor Story as a top
it's what I sent in
three.
the chat tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, a top 3 defensive shortstop in the American League before he started struggling with his throws in late September. It's like, open your eyes. Open your eyes. The metrics can only paint you so much of the picture, not the entire picture.
Okay. Yeah. And can I say one more point on that? And I know Story's been struggling this year, but in McWilliams' piece today, and the Red Sox hit piece is coming out. Now it's on with a guy on the roster. That's a different twist to it. With Tito and whoever else, it's usually when they're gone. Now it's with a guy who's on the team, which makes it a little bit awkward. But, they're talking about how Breslow in the front office, they didn't think Story was a good player anymore. They thought he was past his prime, thought he wasn't an impact bat. Okay. Press pause right there. Breslow and the front office are telling you that. They're the ones in charge of constructing the team. So if they didn't think he was good enough offensively, then why didn't you go get another impact bat when you had 4 months to do so, to supplement the loss of Bregman and to supplement Anthony and Abreu and Contreras in the lineup, and then say, oh, we didn't think he was good enough. Well, you didn't think he was good enough. You guys were in charge of building the team, so go get another bat. That one's pretty simple. And if you thought he was great at shortstop and you saw the errors, maybe be like, all right, have him go to second. He got paid his money, swallow his pride. The metrics tell you Meyer is a good defensive shortstop. Flip him. Get the kid at shortstop. And it doesn't look like Meyer is going to be playing shortstop, at least for the time being. That's what the tweet alluded to. But that was something else where it's like, Breslow, if you don't think he was good, go get another bat to supplement it. Pretty simple.
We're almost closing on 50 minutes, but I think it was a really good show, honestly. But do you guys have any final thoughts from tonight? I have one. I just put together a little bit of something I was thinking about, but I kind of want to close with it. But go ahead. Final thoughts.
I was going to say, after the 17-run win against Baltimore, I turned my buddy, we're on the golf course, and I go, shit, this team is going to make me believe again. And so far, I'm not wrong. And I'm believing a little bit more every day. And a win like today and like yesterday, too. So far in the Chad Tracy era, all 2 games, clean baseball, good baseball. And especially today, it looked like the team was having fun and they were loose and they were just relaxed and playing ball. I am here for that as long as they are showing that type of energy.
Yeah. Suárez was awesome. Let's go get it tomorrow.
So my final thought is the Red Sox win with lefties on the mound. The last time through the order, the 4 lefties, Peyton Tolley, Crochet, Connolly Early, and Ranger Suárez, 27 innings, only 3 runs and 32 strikeouts. That's dominating. If the Red Sox get production out of their starting pitchers like that, they're going to win a lot more games going forward. I guess my takeaway is the righties suck in Bayo, and we haven't seen much from Sonny Gray yet, but when the lefties are cooking, I think the Red Sox team is going to be a lot better. But yeah, that's my final thought, really. Guys, thanks for watching. This episode will be out there on all platforms, Apple Podcasts and Spotify after this, as well as YouTube and Twitter. So, guys, next show coming up soon, and see you guys later.